Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying acrylic paint pouring for the very first time. Now I did buy this kit just to help me get started since I had no experience with this and I didn't really know where to start, but this isn't going to be a kit review video. I did use some of my own canvases, cups, and stirring sticks though, just so I'd have more material to work with. So I didn't really know what I was doing, but I decided to start with just 3 colors to start off with. I started with gold, black, and purple, but since the kit didn't have purple, I decided to just use my own acrylic paint. The bottles from the kit said they were pre-mixed, and I wasn't really sure what that meant. I thought this regular apple barrel paint would be fine since it was really watery, but the kit had paint that was even more watery than the apple barrel, which was very surprising since I've never seen paint be more watery than apple barrel. And it did cause an effect with the pouring, as we'll see later on. And one of the main reasons I decided to get this kit is because it had the gel silicone, which was what would cause the cells in the paint. And so for that, you just mix a few drops into each of your colors and stir it in before mixing your colors into the cup. Now I did learn that to get the best results, you want to pour the paint in the cup with it being tilted so that all the paint will layer up instead of just mixing together. And so to start off, I'm doing the basic flip method, where you put the canvas on top of the cup and then you just flip it. And as you can see, it's not really turning or moving that well. I want to say it was because of the acrylic paint that I was using that was making it a lot thicker. And as you can see, the colors turned out to be more black than anything. The gold and purple effect that I was going for didn't really work out well. And so after that, I decided to jump into the second one, and I decided to go for every color that the kit had, including some more purple from my own kit. And so now that I have all my rainbow colors mixed in with this silicone gel, I'm just mixing it into this bigger cup, going in the reverse rainbow order. And I also added black and I believe some white and gold. And so again, I just did with the basic flip method. And this time the paint did move and spread around a lot better than the first time. So I was starting to feel a little bit more confident with this process. But of course, like always, I'm always recording off screen and off camera, so you can't really see all the magic that's happening. And so after the second one, I was feeling very happy and very excited to continue, but that didn't really last that long. So I really wanted to do a purple one with the gold and little black accents, and so I'm deciding to try it again. This time I added even more purple and less black just so it wouldn't overpower it. And this time I used another apple barrel purple, but the first one I was using was a gloss paint, and so I was thinking maybe that was what was causing it to be very thick. And so this time I just used the very basic matte purple, and it did work a little bit better, but it was still too thick for pouring. I believe you need to dilute regular paint with water or maybe some other liquid. But overall, I am very happy with how this one turned out. And so my motivation being re-inspired, I decided to do a little simpler one. I mixed together the red and yellow to make my own orange since the kit didn't have orange. And I continued making a rainbow color, but this time I also mixed my own purple with red and blue. And again, I'm just going with a flip over method. Now this one did come out a lot nicer since the paint poured and moved around a lot better, but the purple kind of overpowered everything, and it wasn't really a purple, it was more of like a wine or indigo color. But overall I think it does look pretty okay. This process of acrylic paint pouring is definitely very messy and it's hard to control, and so that was kind of difficult for me since I really like things that are in control and a lot easier, that are a lot less messy. But it was still a fun process. I really enjoy doing this canvas. I kind of just poured the paint wherever. I went with blue, pink, white, and a little bit of gold, and this one is definitely one of my favorites. It's probably mainly because it has my favorite colors on it. And so for this next one, I did it with my twin in mind, and so I mixed in more orange and I prepared the red, yellow, and black. And so I started pouring the black, red, orange, and yellow from the top of the canvas going down. I wanted it to look kind of like a flame, and it sort of worked out in some areas, but in other places it kind of just looks like a mess. I did add a little bit of gold as well, just to fill up more of the canvas and to give it more character, I guess. So at this point I was running out of the paint that the kit provided, and since my own acrylic paint wasn't really working, I kind of just started throwing paint all over this canvas. And I started tilting it to get it to move around the canvas and fill it up, but it wasn't really working, so I just kept pouring more and more paint on it. And then I kind of just gave up and threw it onto the table, and I actually really liked the look it made. And so that's what I decided to do for the rest of them, just pouring paint on it or on the tablecloth and just slamming it down and kind of swirling the paint to see what would come up. For me personally, I like this method a lot more than the flip over method or just pouring the paint on top of the canvas. Here with the last bit of paint that was in each of the cups, I just started pouring paint all over the tarp and just throwing the canvases on and just seeing what would come from it. This method definitely has a lot less control since you can't really decide exactly where the paint's gonna go, especially if you just have a big puddle like I did. But it's definitely a lot easier to do and get nicer results than if you're just pouring it or doing the flip over method. But for this one, I did try to do something a little more controlled. I poured a lot of paint all over the top of the canvas and let it swirl around. But then I went straight back to the slamming down method. I'm not sure if this is an actual method people use, but I just really enjoyed how it looked. And after they dried overnight, this is how they turned out. This first one is probably one of my least favorites, just because it doesn't really have that much character to it. Now this one is definitely one of my favorites. Now this third one is probably my most favorite out of them. I think it really captured the art pouring. And this one, I'm kind of just lukewarm about it. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. This one I think mainly just because of the colors, I choose to like it. Now this fire one, I like it, but for my brother, not for me. Now all of these slamming down method ones, I really like how they look. They're very chaotic in a sense, but also very beautiful. Now overall, for my first time trying acrylic paint pouring, I would have to say this definitely isn't my style of painting. I enjoyed it and had a lot of fun once I decided to let loose a little and not focus too much on like the rules to it. At first I was kind of frustrated with the process, but once I decided to kind of just let go and let the paint do what it was going to do, I enjoyed it a lot. It's definitely very messy and it does waste a lot of paint, but I do think it is a very fun craft and I might be doing some more of it or something like this in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked all the different paint palette things that I made. Thank you so much for watching and God bless you.